Hello everyone and welcome to this channel. So today I have very interesting topics. How to pick the right bicycle for you or for someone you know as an electric bicycle. As you could probably see online or any bike store who sell electric bikes, they have so many choices, different sizes, different brands, prices. So everything make your head spin. And I don't blame you. I know when you look online, there's over 100 different bicycles with different brands which you never heard about, and you don't know if it's good or bad. You cannot trust. Some of them scam, some of them not. So today I want to just give you some idea what you need to know before starting to shop, what to look into. Okay, so I have few different bikes over here which would be an example, and let's talk about it. So before shopping for the bike, you need to ask yourself question: what do I need this bike for? What do I want to do on this bike? Do I want to ride long distance to work, school, or just cruise around? How long the mileage you need? Okay, all these questions will come up to you, but the number one questions you need to ask yourself: how will I use this bike? So number one, you need to remember, you need to decide and think about how will I use this bike. As all of them, you could see different. Like this one have fork suspension, this one doesn't. This is a small wheel, big wheel, very confusing. So you need to decide what you will use this for. So once you make some kind of mind about how you will use this, write it down because you might forget it. Step number two, you need to decide what frame do you want to have on your bicycle. So let me explain to you. The frames, it's a very big decision making as well on any bicycle. Like for example, this one is step through. It's good for anybody, short, tall, young, older person, doesn't matter. It's very easy to get on and ride it. And I can tell from my experience, once you get on this step through, you will always forget, and this bike will be kind of with a step over, will always be, the frame will be always on your way. So unless you never have step through, you will never know. But it's a very good bike to start. But again, it's not for everyone, and I'll tell you why. There's also a small bike like this one, which very portable. You can put it very easy in a trunk. It doesn't mean it's light. It's weight about 45 pounds, but you can find lighter one. But it's all depend on your budget as well. Or you can get big one. Basically, all this bicycle I have right now as example, most of them portable. It means they have frame which can be folded, handlebar folded, and you can remove the seat and put in your trunk. So all this bike I can put in my trunk. That's why I choose all these bikes, and I keep them because I can take them anywhere I want to. Okay, but they have different purposes. So that's something you need to decide. Do you want foldable, or you will have a rack on your car where you can attach it? So for example, anytime you buy foldable bike, it's usually heavier than regular with a regular frame, because like let's say the Jupiter, this bike, as you can see, very thick frame, or this bike have thick frame because it does have very nice frame, but it have to be very strong. And if your bike have no double frame, like step over frame usually have two bar, but this one only one, and also it's foldable, the frame must to be made out of the stronger material and also to be thicker, so it will hold while you're riding, will not bend under you, so it will not break. So you need to decide if you want foldable or regular frame. And I like both, but once I start to use step through, I feel kind of funny sometimes because the frame always on my way, and you will know, again, you will never know until you try it. So once you decide which frame you want, Then you need to decide next step. The next step, you need to decide based on what you will use this for, what tire or wheels you're gonna need to use, because you cannot replace just every time you change your mind. If you decide to use for mountain biking, you cannot replace with the mini tires or fat tire, because they will not fit to this mountain bike, and these tires will not fit, the wheels will not fit to the fat tires regardless of the size. So that's why you need to decide what you will use this for, and then based on that information you can decide what tires you want to go. And it's very nice to make this decision before even starting shopping, because like says today, I'm in California, it's a beautiful day, but we did have some rain in the morning. It was very rainy. So imagine you need to go to work on the bicycle and you have Jetson Ball Pro with the thin small tires. You might get in trouble. With the fatter tires, you can reduce some pressure in it and ride the rain, snow, sand, off-road. Anyway, it's like amphibian almost. So you can ride anywhere you want. So even they do have bigger tires like 26-inch, but still fat. So the fat tires can be used basically at any weather, anywhere you wish to go to. So that's, but the downside, they are more heavy as they're bigger. So that's something you need to consider as well. But remember, the bigger tires, it's heavy. Also the foldable bikes, always heavy, about 5 to 10 or even more pounds, depend on the material of the frame. Okay, so the next step, it's very, very important before you make any shopping looking for the bike, to know what range you will need it in the future. And it's very easy to predict actually. If you need it to work, you probably know how far to go to work. If you want to cruise around, you know what average distance you would cruise about. So I would recommend to check with yourself to see what distance you usually planning to travel, and probably multiply by 2, because most likely on the bicycle we'll try to do actually further than actually you used to go, because with the electric bike you don't feel the distance that much as on regular bike, because it gives you a lot of assist. So let's say if you're planning to ride 10 miles, so you need at least 20 miles distance range at least. So if you're planning to do only 5 miles one way, then you need at least 10 miles capacity of battery to take you there and back. I'm not talking about pedal assist, because any of this bike still is a bike. You can still pedal them easily. Then smaller wheels, then harder to pedal, of course. Then these bikes, all of the rest of them, it's very easy to pedal. Even the battery is going to be dead, you still will pedal, you don't have to walk, unless it's up to the hill and very hard to go. But let's decide on the range that you want to have the battery last for. So on average, every company would give you different idea, but at the end, if your battery is 48 volt, or like you can see how many watt hours on it, so let's say 500 watt hours, it will be lasting about 20 to 30 miles. So if your battery, let's say 48 by 10, you will have only 20 miles range. Don't pay attention to the website who tell you you're gonna ride for 80 miles, but if your battery 48 by 10, it will be only like 20 to 30, unless you ride mostly pedaling without any pedal assist. That's, I'm telling you from my experience, because the website can be deceiving. They might have wrong information sometimes. Not always the website have all accurate. So you need to check and see what kind of battery the bike have. So you need to decide. It's very important, and this will save you money and time, because imagine you buy bike with a smaller battery and then you want to upgrade to the bigger battery. So basically you have to buy extra new battery, which will cost you almost half of the bike. The battery, it's more than 30% of the cost of the bike. I would say at least 30% of the bike cost, because the battery, if it's good battery, because the batteries are expensive. Also, then you need to consider what motor you want to have, because based on your condition riding, if you want just cruise around, 250 watt 350 watt would be just fine. But if you want something like to ride in the mountain, to have a lot of torque in it, then you need to go 500 750 or up. This one, two bikes 750, I feel they are about the same strengths. If you're going to the mountains, they can go any hills, so I never have any problems, so it's perfect. This one is 400 watt bike, and I can still go most of the hills. I almost never have to walk in the hills, but you have to work harder to get some exercise, so it's not for everyone. And Jetson Bolt Pro 350 watt motor, but it's 36 watt, and it's not as strong than this bike. Even the same motor size set, but there's much less torque in it. So you also need to see here how much torque in it. So these two bikes almost 1 horsepower torque, so it's very powerful, two bikes. So that's very important to see before you start to shop. And so next step, you need to decide what is your budget, because everything will be based on your budget. And I recommend you to wait maybe a week or two if you have not enough budget, because if the difference only $100 between this bike or this bike, for example, and you want this bike but you cannot afford it today, wait for a little bit. Like, I don't know how long it will take you, but if you wait just a little bit, maybe you will have enough money to buy this bike, and then it will be much better for you, for example, because you will save more money, because you don't have to do any upgrade anymore. For example, it's about the same price, but over here you're getting suspension, this one without suspension, this one without suspension, the other one have suspension, front suspension. Big difference while you're riding. So when it comes to the frame, make sure you look also on the suspension type, because you will want to have suspension regardless how you will ride. If you're riding as a cruising at the beach, to work, off road, then suspension will give you much nicer ride. You need to know who you're buying from, because there's so many websites and everybody offer 1 year warranty, 2 years warranty, but they can disappear anytime and you have no warranty, and then you don't know how to fix it and you're stuck with the bike. So it's very important also to check, see what the reputation of the company. If they do have sales support, after sale, they call it after sale. So if you call them up before you even start to shop, you can get the phone number and try to call them up. Ask any questions, like call the sales team if they have sales team, call the support team and see if they will answer. Leave the message, see if they answer you. This way will help you to avoid future problems as well, because there's so many different brands, you never know if they will give you good support or not. So when you try, even before you own the bike, just call them up, okay? And don't be fooled. If you're thinking you're getting like bike for $1,000 or even $2,000, the parts will be of course inexpensive, because let's say if you get like a nice fork, like on G-Force right now I have nice fork, but it's not brand name. So let's say if you want to get brand name fork like this, it will cost you over $800 most likely, okay? And I got it for about $126, so that's a big difference. So if you want some brand name, that's something depend on your budget. So that's why budget is very important as well. Write it down, decide what you need to, ask yourself question, what will I use it for? And then you need to decide what frame you want to have, what motor, and how much range do you need it for, and what's your budget. And of course, check the support team they offer. This way you know who to buy it from. And that's about it, just to start to look in the biking world, because there's so many other information you need to know. I don't want to make this video too long. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you like this video. Please don't forget hit like and subscribe, so I'll make another video with more information. And I'll see you in the next video.